Okay, folks, I'm going to ask that you excuse the way that I look right now. I just got this data in and I want to share it with you. Erie County has made great strides in reducing overdose deaths. As a matter of fact, Erie County is one of the most prominent forces in battling opioid deaths. Buffalo Police Department, tackling drugs. Erie County Sheriff's Department, tackling drugs. FBI Safe Streets, tackling drugs. DEA 360 wraparound, tackling drugs. And a whole lot of community task force, of which we are one big one. Well, the great news is that white overdoses have gone down from 2018 at a zero baseline. In 2019, white overdoses went down negative 1.3%. In 2020, we inched back up to zero. In 2021, white overdoses were down 7.6%. In 2022, white overdoses became even more suppressed at 13.7%. In 2023, white overdoses were down 17.7%. In 2024, praise God, we were able to drop the overdose rates to 27.8%. That's a magnificent drop because white folks in Erie County represent 79% of the population. But at the time, they represented 79% of all overdoses. Now they only represent 59% of all overdoses, which is fantastic news. That's great strides. Erie County is doing its thing. We appreciate the help from every one of the communities, from Cheektowaga all the way out to East Otto. Everybody is doing what they can to stop our children from dying. But there's a contrast that I'd like to share right now. Now, I have met with several city officials about a pending overdose problem in the Black community. Literally, I met with councilwomen. I've met with people that are, they have the power to try to impede these deaths. Well, sadly, in 2018, the baseline was zero. In 2019, Black overdoses remained at zero. But in 2020, there was a 90% increase in Black opioid epidemic deaths. In 2020, it went to 120. In 2022, it rose to 180%. In 2023, it rose to 220%. Now, thus far in 2024, Black individuals represent a 290% increase in overdose deaths. Although we are only 14% of the population, we now represent 39% of all overdoses. Let that sink in. We've warned. We've met with those in power. Just let it sink in. I sent letters in January of 2024. I sent letters in 2023. Warning of this. Let it sink in. It reminds me of the crack epidemic in the 1990s and 1980s. As long as it's happening in that community over there, we're fine. But as soon as it happens in this community, we're going to sink hundreds of millions of dollars into it. But now that it's happening in that community over there, deaf ears. The Black community represents now 39% of all overdose deaths, although they are only 13 or 14%, percent of the population. Let that sink in. For you guys that are in your 50s like I am, you remember how it was in the 80s and 90s. You were just young adults, 20, 25 years old. It's happening again.